Total Retail is excited to announce the release of its latest research report, How to Make Free Shipping Profitable: Tactics to Help Retailers Meet Growing Consumer Demand for Free Shipping Without Going Broke. Based on a 10-part article series that Total Retail published on this topic, the report intends to educate retailers on various ways they can offer free shipping without it becoming a money-losing proposition. You can download the complimentary report at mytotalretail.com/resources.
Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan of Total Retail, and I am joined today by James Pope, the Director of Marketing and Sales Operations at FLOR. I'm going to be talking to James this afternoon a little bit about how FLOR has been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, any changes to its business as a result, and kind of how it sees operations going forward. So thanks for joining me today, James.
Thank you, Joe. I'm excited to talk with you all today.
So let's get started by having you tell our audience a little bit about FLOR for those that might not be familiar with the company.
Yeah, so FLOR we are a company, a brand that sells rugs, but our rugs are really unique in the marketplace in the fact that they are completely customizable because they are made of tiles, and the tiles form together to form any size rug, shape, or design that you look for. So we offer a really highly customizable product, and it allows people to create area rugs in their homes or wall-to-wall carpeting if they want. That fits all of their needs that could be unique to them in their homes and the spaces they live in. And also FLOR has strong sustainable features. Our yarn is 100% recycled, and we have a significant amount of post-consumer recycled content in our backing. No VOCs, no harsh chemicals. So we offer, and we also have, our products are carbon neutral across their entire life cycle. And when you're done with our products, you can send them back to us and we will recycle them and make new FLOR tiles with what you send back to us. So we have a closed loop recycling system as well. So I think we offer the beauty. We say we have a beautiful product. We have a smart product because of how it can come together in your home. And then we have a responsible product with all the great sustainable features. So that's FLOR. And it's a really, really amazing experience to see what our customers do with our product in their homes.
Yeah, and you're kind of hitting all the bases there with the different product features that you mentioned. How about how you're selling the product? Let's talk a little bit about your distribution channels. You have the e-commerce website and stores.
Yes. Well, our biggest channel is our e-commerce website, FLOR.com, and that is driven by our catalog. So we have a FLOR catalog that we circulate 5 times a year. We have about a little over 5 million circulation in total on an annual basis. That catalog is really a way for us to connect with consumers and engage them and inspire them to create amazing places within their home, amazing spaces and beautifully designed spaces. And then that catalog then drives consumers to our digital e-com site to really kind of engage, experience, and then purchase. FLOR several years ago did have a significant store quantity. In 2017, we exited the vast majority of those stores because that channel was just not where our consumers were and not how our consumers were engaging with FLOR. And what our consumers were really telling us is that they were happy to work with us through the catalog, and then through our e-commerce website. And I think that speaks to a larger movement within retail. And just recently, during the COVID-19 epidemic that we've seen in our country, we did have our 3 remaining stores, 2 in New York, 1 in San Francisco. They had been closed since March due to the pandemic, and we permanently closed those at the end of June on June 30th. So we have fully exited bricks and mortar at this point.
So that's one. So that's a good lead in, James, until my next question. I was going to talk about kind of the impact that COVID-19 has had on FLOR's business. Anecdotally, we're hearing that, as people are spending more time in their homes, they're looking to do different home improvement projects, and flooring obviously being one of that. Tell us a little bit about kind of the impact that the pandemic has had on your business.
Well, I have to say that this situation. I've worked in home furnishings for a long time, and this particular situation that is impacting us, which is COVID and the economic uncertainty that accompanies it, is really unusual in the fact that our direct-to-consumer business outside of the retail channel is up significantly in Q2. just after the pandemic kind of started. So looking at April through June. So we have seen significant improvement year over year in both all KPIs that are related to our business in terms of catalog productivity, website traffic, new customer acquisition, conversion, sales, all have been significantly up outside of our retail channels year over year. So we have been, I think what consumers are telling us is that they're at home, they're working at home, they're living at home in a way they haven't before, and they are re-engaging in their homes, and they wanted to make it really beautiful and unique for them and their families, and they are engaging with us to make that happen.
As you mentioned, the increased traffic and online to your e-commerce site, your catalogs are seeing nice traction as well. Maybe you want to talk a little bit about some of the solutions you've put into place to help manage that increased traffic, and you're looking to drive conversion on that traffic. Tell us a little bit about some of the things you've put into place in the last quarter or so.
Well, it's interesting because FLOR has been in a unique position in the last, I would say this really, the timing of this situation is unique for us because over the last 24 months or so, we've been reinvesting in new digital platforms. So about almost a little less than 2 years ago, we reinvested in a new marketing automation platform, which is called Salesforce Marketing Cloud. And that has a significant ability to scale and create personalized experiences through marketing automation for our customers. So we've kind of doubled down in that area. And then likewise, over the last 8 months, we have been designing, developing, and deploying a new website. And that just went live on July 15th. So it's interesting. Our old website was really supporting us during this increased traffic and time, and we saw increased traffic, increased conversion, increased sales through the website, which was being supported through our marketing automation platform, and it did well. I think that our investment is really now we're going to even take off further with the new website that just launched in July, coupled with our marketing automation platform. So yeah, I mean, I think for us, we invested in platforms that can scale with us starting 2 years ago. And so as this new traffic and revenue has come through, the platforms have scaled appropriately. And we're actually really pleased with we didn't know what was going to happen, but we invested in the right tools that allowed us to scale appropriately for the current environment.
Yeah, and I would imagine for that marketing automation platform, that being, direct to consumer with your catalog, that provides a lot of valuable customer data that you can then feed into these systems. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that and kind of the benefits it's provided?
Yes. So we have for each customer record, we have up to 20 to 30 attributes that we can use to create marketing experiences across the spectrum of our digital world. And that includes email, it includes paid digital media that we're pushing out to Google, retargeting, what have you. And then those digital experiences can now be individualized and personalized on the site dynamically, all with the data that is contained within our marketing automation platform, which is fed from our CRM system. So as an example, if you have sampled with FLOR, we know that 50% of all people that 50% of people that sample with us, that get a sample of one of our products, convert. So, but the vast majority of those conversions occur very early in the sampling process, within 30 to 60 days. So what we are able to do with marketing automation, with our marketing automation platform, and now with the website, is create experiences that are tailored to that sampler, and to reinforce features and benefits, styles that they may be looking at, using artificial intelligence to provide them additional styles they need to look at to get them over the hump into conversion. So that is one example of how we use the data to create a unique experience for customers where they are in their journey. Another example is someone who's requested a catalog but hasn't bought yet. So they're clearly interested in the brand. We know they've requested a catalog. How do we then leverage digital within email, paid media, and then on site to get them to go from a catalog shopper to a catalog buyer on the site? So those are some of the examples of how we use those attributes to define unique experiences.
Yeah, that's a couple great examples of the behaviors that you're seeing and trying to, what you're seeing from your customers. The follow-up to that is, have you seen any changes in your behavior of your customers as a result of COVID-19 over the last quarter? Have you seen, different types of purchase journeys, or, different products being more popular? And, tell us a little bit about what might have changed.
Well, a couple of things have changed. So we do it's interesting. We do a post-purchase survey, which uses the Net Promoter System, NPS, to analyze customer experience. And a lot of people use NPS. And part of that program allows us to look at where customers are installing the product. That's one of the follow-up questions. So what type of room are they using the product in? And as we all know, there's been a lot of focus on work from home and home office during COVID. So we saw our penetration of home office installs double in the quarter. So it doubled the amount of home office installs. While still not the biggest install area within the home, it significantly increased during COVID. So that's one example of where consumers were refocusing on the home and really looking at that work from home space. But still, things like living room were still dominating, but we did see a significant increase in home office. Another area that we saw that we could see that more new customers were trying us out. And we noticed that because typically new customers have a slightly lower average order value than the normal customer who's familiar with FLOR, who's rebuying. So a new customer is kind of trying the brand out, so maybe they're not as engaged, their order value is lower. So we did notice overall average orders decreased, transactions were up, but average orders slightly decreased, representing those enhanced new customers. And new customer traffic to the site during the quarter was up about 30%. So we definitely saw new people who were clearly had a need within their homes, and they were engaging with FLOR for the first time.
Yeah, and that's a great example in terms of that, person that might have been commuting into an office. Now they're working from home. They're trying to set up their home office. They're looking for some, an area rug. And, that's a great example of a new customer coming into the business.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit, James, about, you mentioned right at the top, this kind of the economic uncertainty that's also accompanied the, obviously the health ramifications of COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
So how's that kind of impacted, if at all, and how you're communicating with your customers, your prospects? Has your messaging changed in the last, 3-4 months? And if so, how has it changed?
I think it's interesting. We are going to print with the summer catalog. We are going to print with that at the beginning of April because it comes out at the first half of May. So that goes to the printer at the first half of April. And we had an interesting debate. So this is about 30 days into the COVID-19 epidemic. And there was some language in the catalog about, not wanting to escape from your home. And I can't remember the exact words, but it was kind of make your home a vacation you never want to escape from. It was kind of tongue in cheek about making your home the perfect place and not wanting to go on vacation. And I think as we looked at those headlines, some of the marketing call to actions, we realized that people are stuck at home. They're being forced to be at home. And we need to change the tone of what we're saying so it doesn't reinforce their unhappiness with their situation, but actually gives them tools to actually activate their home and make it better for themselves. So we changed some headlines around, we changed some copy in that summer catalog that went in home the first half of May. So that's an example. And also we had to kind of be thoughtful about email and headlines we were using as well to understand that people were at home, they weren't in the office, they had limited ability to go out and do things. So I think it was more about trying to make them activate them and actualize them with their current state and not make them feel worse about it. And I think that's just a subtle tonality that we try to address both in catalog and digital.
So you mentioned the shift in tones. How about, frequency with which you were contacting your customers? You mentioned that, this is a situation where there was an increase in need as customers. Did you ramp up frequency?
We didn't. We kept our frequency the same. And I think that we're very sensitive to our competitive set, and they have actually increased their frequency. And there's been a significant amount of quantity of messaging that's going out, specifically digital, that we see in our competitive set. And I think for us, we believe that less is more. So what we try to do is we don't do the frequency that we see in our competitive set, but we do try to make our contacts as engaging and immersive as possible. So for us, it wasn't about frequency, it was about quality. And so that's where we went during this period of time is really trying to make the contacts as quality driven and as engaging and as relevant as we can make them.
Yep. So looking ahead, James, how is FLOR preparing its business for a post-pandemic environment? Do you foresee some of the shifts that we've seen in the last few months, becoming more of a long-term behavior and becoming permanent for consumers? And if so, what are you doing to kind of account for that?
Well, I think that, we now have launched a new website that we are incredibly proud of that makes the buying process much easier. We spent a lot of time on the product details page and the buy stack to really make it as easy as possible to buy a rug from us, because the process to buy our product is a little more complex. So first off, we really, not knowing that the pandemic was happening, we were in the design phase of the website, but really knowing that we want new consumers to come to us and be able to easily buy. So that we've kind of done that, and we know we're going to be getting more and more new consumers coming in. So we've done that. Also, I think that we've also changed our virtual customer service operations. Our customer service team works from home currently, and they are completely virtual. And so we're leveraging video conferencing platforms to create one-to-one design consultations. So consumers don't have to meet with a designer in a store or in a one-to-one personal environment. They can actually have a full-on video design consultations with one of our design consultants through the platform that we use internally. And we've actually already seen great success with that, because I think consumers are very protective of their time and their space now because of what's going on. And they want safe and comfortable ways that they can engage with design resources that allow them to create the spaces that are important to them. And I think what our job is to find those ways that make it as easy as possible for consumers to do that. I think the website is one, and I think the virtual design services that we're offering, both through the website, through email, and then through video conferencing, are another.
Yeah, that's a great segue into my final question, James. And you mentioned earlier that FLOR is exiting the physical retail space, but you're trying, with a product like flooring, which is tactile, customers want to feel it. They want to, you mentioned the samples that are sent out. How are you, and you could touch on this, kind of trying to recreate that experience so that the customer in their head, they know what they're getting before they're willing to make a purchase? Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing digitally and to kind of recreate that experience?
Yeah, I think it starts with, it's not as, it's kind of a little old school, but it starts with the catalog. And we spend a lot of time analyzing how customers are buying our product, the rooms they're using them in, and make the catalog a representation of that experience that they're having with our product. It involves into color correction to make sure that the colors that we present in our printed catalog are as accurate as possible, so that customers have a base color reference to look at when they're working with their home. We have made the sampling process very easy, so you can get samples really quickly. You get samples from us within days of ordering them, and we made the process on the website super easy. We have people that are available through chat, through email, through virtual consultations that can work with customers directly to kind of, once they have the sample in hand, to help them imagine what it looks like in the space and do full layouts if needed. I think consumers are used to working digitally because of so much that's been happening in the last several years, that I think this is a natural segue. And I think there's actually a comfortability part for them, because it is a safer experience for them right now from a security and safe and health perspective. And I think us having the sampling ability and having the design services that support it are allowing customers to have that tactile sense. And since we've already been operating with very few stores for the last several years anyway, we've actually seen our digital business continue to expand and grow. And so we've actually recaptured the vast majority of retail sales that we exited when we closed the majority of our store. We've already recaptured that in our digital channels.
Great. Well, I want to take this opportunity to thank James Pope, the Director of Marketing and Sales Operation at FLOR, for joining us on today's episode of Total Retail Talks. Thank you, James.
Thank you.
For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at mytotalretail.com/podcast for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and Stitcher. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.
To download Total Retail's latest research report, How to Make Free Shipping Profitable, go to mytotalretail.com/resources.